The Golden Gate Classics return once again to the serene Golden Gate Highlands National Park with a stellar lineup of artists that are set to take to the stage. Now in its third edition, attendees will enjoy the classical sounds of Beethoven, Bach and Mozart at the backdrop of the Maluti Mountains. Audiences will be treated to an evening of jazz with the Bokani Dyer trio and songbird Thandi Ntuli that will kick off this year's Golden Gate Classics weekend. But to tell us more, we are joined in studio by Rey Thakhuli, acting head of communications at SanParks, and conductor Kutlwano Masote. It's great to have you both. Warm welcome to Morning Live. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with you, Kutlwano. You've been a part of this event before, so please take us through why this is a platform that is relevant for artists and why you keep going back.
Well, I'll start with the last part. I keep going back because it's absolutely stunning. The setting is gorgeous, and of course, being able to do what we do here in concert halls and places like that out in the open in nature is really amazing. But yeah, it's very important to obviously keep the arts going. And Reynold will talk a little bit more about why SanParks do this, but it's also to promote the national park, I guess, and just to celebrate who we are as South Africans and the lovely settings and the musical talent that we have in the country.
Of course. And Ray, speaking about the national park, why has this been the perfect backdrop to have this event? Is it to promote the park, and what else?
I think we have a very dark history in South Africa where national parks were only allowed, in fact, they only allowed certain population of the country to visit this national park. Now, we are now reintroducing these national parks to the majority of South Africans. And there's no better way to actually, do this without, doing an event such as the Golden Gate Classic in Golden Gate Highlands National Park. Of course, it is also to try and showcase these national parks and also, making sure that our artists also have this wonderful natural, backdrop to actually perform their art.
All right, Kutlwano, let's talk about what will be on the stage, or who will be on the stage this year serenading audiences.
Wow, it gives me real goosebumps and a pleasure to talk about. So we have two evenings of music. Firstly, the Friday 9th, the 8th, there's the 6th of December. We have a jazz evening where we'll have the Bokani Dyer trio and also Thandi Ntuli joining them. So it will be a collaboration between Bokani's band and Thandi Ntuli. I don't think they've ever had two grand pianos in Clarence, so we'll have two grand pianos. This will be in a big marquee on the lawns of the Golden Gate Hotel. And so on Saturday night, the 7th of December, will be the orchestral operatic evening of art songs, South African art songs, where we'll be joined by Sibongile Khumalo. She'll be singing one of the Princess Magoko songs, a wonderful South African traditional folk song called Evening Song, and also a wonderful aria by Bokani Dyer, a living composer. And we'll also have an operatic soprano in Zandile Mzazi. She'll be doing all the usual opera highlights, and a chorus from the TUT Vocal Art Chorus who will be gracing the evening with a 40-piece orchestra that I'll be conducting.
And yes, I was about to say, in particular, you and the orchestra, what can we expect to see from you guys?
So, my role really here is to put the whole program together on the Saturday night specifically, and I try to make it a very diverse, appealing program, something that has a wow to it, because there are a few of these outdoor, under the stars kind of concerts with the orchestra, under a big stage. But we always wanted to bring something new other than the setting. So it will be a fair mix of South African music, as I mentioned, Princess Magoko, Isa Cruz music, Bokani Dyer's music, some Guno, some Verdi, etc. So it will be a wonderful mix. And the orchestra is quite pliable in the sense of the repertoire that I make them or I ask of them to play. So that for me is the cherry on top.
And Ray, I want to talk about the accessibility of the national park outside of having this and other events that you guys are involved in. For the people that are around in those areas, is it accessible? Is it open?
It is very much accessible. I mean, even every year we have a week where we actually dedicate this week for South Africans to visit any national park of their choice. We call it National Parks Week. And this year we actually reached the record number. We had about almost 120,000 people that actually took advantage of the National Parks Week. So in any given time, South Africans are allowed to go to any national park of their choice. I mean, we've got 19 of them in 7 provinces of our country. And they're quite reasonable. I mean, you can pay anything between 70 rands for an adult and 30 rands for small children. So you can go up Table Mountain, you can go to the Kruger National Park, and even other small parks that are not necessarily known. We want people to actually access them, and they are very much accessible.
And for people who are coming to this event, what can we expect to see and experience at the Golden Gate?
Golden Gate is it's a wonderful place. You know, you can do walking trails up the Brandwag Rock, which is phenomenal, which is beautiful. You can actually go to other trails that are also available within the park. You can go do canoeing within the national park. You can do all sorts of walks, cycling in the park. We also have the Basotho Cultural Village, where people are allowed to go and see and learn about the history of the Basotho within that area. So it's quite a fascinating area, and we're really inviting people to come in numbers to experience this wonderful event.
That's fantastic. Great. Thank you so much, Kutlwano. We look forward to seeing your magic on stage.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making the time to come on the show, gentlemen. That was Rey Thakhuli, Acting Head of Communications at SanParks, and conductor Kutlwano Masote, who were talking to us about the annual Golden Gate Classics, which is set to take place at the Golden Gate Highlands National Park. It's going to be quite a treat. Make sure that you get yourself there if you're able to. We're going to take it back to Simpiwe.